Now we're cooking. We got the show officially rolling. Oh, that music's too loud. I don't like it. I'm gonna go this one. There. That's less loud. Oh, it was just too loud for me. Was it loud for you?
Okay. No, I was. It was a great way to start my Monday. I was jamming out. Yeah.
That sounds like the beginning. That sounds like a an intro to an old Beatles, or not Beatles, Monkeys song.
This one does for sure.
It does.
It's like the last train to wherever they were going.
Yeah, I can't think of what the name.
Yeah.
Boston. Was it Boston? No, maybe not.
Well, that was kind of the inspiration behind it. Was that kind of vibe, that Monkeys kind of vibe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well.
So by the way.
Yeah.
First album you've ever owned.
That's a good one. First album you've ever owned. Put it in the chat. First album you've ever owned.
You were ever owned or gifted, or and let's go back. Even if it was the 45 back when they made those.
Oh, even the 45.
So the first music you ever bought, what was it?
Oh God.
So I'm gonna tell you the first one I was ever, I don't know, given, if this would fall into it. So I remember when on the box, so this is a long time ago. So on the back of the box of Sugar Smacks.
Yes.
You could cut out this little record. It was on the back of the box.
I remember that. Yeah.
You cut it out. And it was the Chipmunks.
Oh, the Chipmunks. Yeah.
It was a Chipmunk song. Yeah. And it was yellow. I remember that. I see. So dude, I went in the house about, did I share that with you, Frank?
I don't think so.
You know what, when we, I don't want to take up today. When we finish today, if you want to hang on for a little bit, I'll tell you a little story about the house I was born in. It was really cool. I went back and visited it. It was so weird. I'll tell you about it at the end.
That would be weird. Yeah.
Anyway. So what are we doing today, man?
Well, a couple things, but I want to stick on the album thing. People are putting a bunch of stuff in here just real briefly. The first album I think I actually spent money on was Boston. Remember the first Boston record?
Oh, dude, that was killer.
Yeah, but the first album that I kind of wore out, believe it or not, was I was young and my parents had albums, was Simon and who sang that song? Cecilia, you're breaking my heart.
Oh, yeah, I remember that song.
Something shaking my confidence daily.
I think that was a one-hit wonder, man.
Is that Simon and Garfunkel?
No, that's not Simon and Garfunkel. I don't think.
Cecilia, down on mine. It is Simon and Garfunkel.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, that was the one, and the words were written on the back of the album. So I would play it and then try to sing it. I could never sing.
And yet you're still messing up the lyrics, Frank. That's
still ruining everything.
So Herman's Hermits, Miss Brown, you have a lovely daughter. It was a great song. Cheap Trick. Gosh, I'm so much older than everybody. Mine was Kiss Army.
Well, listen, man, I'll tell you, there's probably people on this call right now that have never bought an album. Right, like a
Grand Funk.
The big 12-inch album, right? Because those went away,
it's like this one here, Amy, Tie Yellow Ribbon. So for a while there, I remember if you had one hit song,
Dawn,
they would give you a TV show. Like a variety. No, really, like Captain Tennille, they had one hit song.
Tony Orlando and
Tony Orlando had one hit song, and it was funny. Like, if you had one good hit, they'd make a little show out of you, and it'd last a season, maybe two,
right?
Half a season, something like that.
Yeah.
So my first one was the Beatles. Not the Beatles, the Monkeys. So the Monkeys, when that album came out, that was the first album I ever bought.
Do you know the record players are making a comeback because my 15-year-old got one like maybe 6 months ago, something like that. So vinyl.
Really?
There you go. It's making a comeback.
And we'll move on here. But one thing on the records coming back and the vinyl, and I totally get it, but because it's kind of a cool way to hear music. And actually, I think the fidelity of it is better, right? Because you hear it's so analog, you hear everything better. But Katie bought me a record player for Christmas a few years back, my daughter. And so the novelty of it was kind of cool. Record player, put on a record. I think I put on Rush 2112. She bought me the album too.
Oh, wow.
So I put it on. But you know what, man? as soon as that first side was done, it was like, oh, I got to walk over there and do something now, and so the whole convenience thing came just right to light. It's like music's a lot more convenient these days than having to flip a record. But remember when you could stack them up and it would drop the next one, and it would drop the next one, and it would drop the
Oh,
next one.
sure.
Yeah.
That
No,
had
that's
been good
cool.
for those albums too, by the way.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's get started today. So, good morning. Hey, if you're here for the first time, this isn't normally how we start, but we'd like to say good morning to you and greet you and thank you for popping in. But today, man, we were talking about it in the green room, and I think first things first, we got a few things to cover today. I just want to make sure I push the right stinking button. So hold on, because it's very important to me that I do this appropriately. Okay, let's do a Kristen's Corner. Kristen's Corner. Haven't done one of these in a long time.
I thought I might get the sad trombone, but thank you, Frank, for pressing the button.
No, I should have thought about that. But gosh darn it, that happened again.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Spotlight you. Didn't mean it at all.
Ladies, help me out here.
Okay.
Take away his spotlight.
Things that make you smile. Things that make you smile.
There you go. See, if you're getting value from this already, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more loan officers find content that actually makes a difference. And hey, if staying ahead of the market and learning what's really working in our industry matters to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. We read every comment, so drop your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you and know what's working or what you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you here next time. All right. All right.
We have a good corner, and I know we haven't had one in a while, so I'm excited. Dave
Yeah.
put something in the Facebook page that I think a lot of people struggle with. So his question was, is the Loan Officer Breakfast Club philosophy that a new or newer LO can and should receive LOA support as soon as possible, or that they need to reach a certain level of production before receiving LOA support? So I think that was a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait a second. So great question, but it's flawed. It's a flawed question.
Okay.
The reason it's flawed is the words as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because
Expound.
so if I said as soon as possible, like let's say I go to my branch manager and he or she says, I go up to him and say, hey, I need an assistant so I can go, close more loans. And he said, well, Carl, we'll do that as soon as possible. Well, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean as soon as I'm closing 10 loans a month? Does that mean, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't even know what that, it had to be a more, a great question, by the way. I'm just saying we have to define, when do you get help? There has to be a thing where we can go, there's a trigger that goes, this is the point. And it's the same always. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some sort of trigger, when this happens, then you'll get help.
Well, Carl, you're a branch manager, so just based on personal experience, is there a specific number that you're looking for?
Before I answer that, how many people have a true assistant? Now, I might share that with somebody. Maybe me and Chauncey are sharing an assistant or something like that. Totally cool. We might share a processor. We might share an underwriter, right? But as long as I don't feel it, right now I'm sharing the internet with all my neighbors, but I can't tell. I click the button and I get the answer, and I click on Zoom and it seems pretty flawless. So that I'm sharing really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. So I
think we got to identify what we mean by assistant too.
Yeah.
What assistant in what capacity?
Let's say something as simple as chasing conditions for you.
Okay, good enough.
That's probably where it starts, I think, for most people.
And it's a big one too. It's an important one to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes. So fair amount. Yes. I don't have an assistant, but I have a processor, and sometimes a processor. So for me, we had for my own personal production, I had loan managers, and where they would process and be the assistant, be the I would take the application, hand it over, And then that was it. Like they did that. This one person did everything, which actually I kind of like that model because, nothing got lost in translation or, when Bob, the assistant, handed it off to the processor and they're both working on the file.
Right.
To me, that's kind of like sometimes it can be like, the proverbial ball hit out in left field, and you have two people running for the ball saying, I got it. And then they both stop and stand back because they don't want to get in the other person's way. And an easily
Right.
caught ball hits the ground. And so
Hmm.
sometimes, when you have multiple people working on one file, you have that can be a,
Challenge.
a challenge. Yeah, that can be
Hmm.
a challenge. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I like
so
that idea about the manager. Kind of one does it all, or somebody just
I,
managing
I
the whole
I
thing.
did too.
That's
I
pretty
did too.
good.
The challenge with that is finding somebody that's incredibly organized and is fantastic at talking to the people.
Right.
And then one last piece, and they ask for the business on my behalf. Not
Hmm.
sometimes, not most of the time, but every single conversation they end by asking for the business. And so that's the hardest part of a loan manager is it's a multi-skill thing that sometimes typically doesn't overflow each other. I mean,
Hmm.
occasionally it does, but and I wouldn't call it rare, but I wouldn't call it a dime a dozen either.
You know why I like that manager concept too? And I know we're kind of getting off track, but what's nice about that is sometimes if you are like going, okay, it starts with this person, then this happens, so it moves to that person, then this happened, it moves to that person and if those people are engaging with the customer, then sometimes you can run into that whole thing where the customer says, well, I already told the last person what that was, or already did, and
Mm-hmm.
that didn't get communicated across. And then it looks like it's
Mm.
disjointed a little bit. So if you do have that kind of a flow, it does have to be really tight. There has to be really good communication between members,
Yeah.
for sure. But your idea of the manager that kind of just keeps track of it and,
Mm-hmm.
is like the in between, I think that's the ideal assistant to me.
Yeah, I like
That's the way
that.
it
And
sounds.
that
Yeah.
person can take that person can usually do mm, 10 files,
That's pretty good to be able to, yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
about
because
10.
if you're cranking out 10 files consistently, now you do have the revenue to bring on the next one,
Yeah.
whoever that may be, the pre-approval specialist or whatever you're looking for there.
Yeah, for sure. Chauncey,
Yeah.
what you got?
Yeah, just to add on something that's helped me because I struggled prior to this last 4 months in that regard. Do if you all can do an exit interview on every client that you close a loan on. That's going to help you find out where some of you all are overlapping on your team, where they had asked for multiple things multiple times. Just do an exit interview with your clients. That's going to help you clear up what's actually happening from their point of view. Because we're always looking at our side saying, okay, what can I do? But look at the client's point of view. How was that experience for them? Did
Mm,
that really help? Was it really, really efficient for them getting to the closing? Was there any confusion throughout the process? And that'll help you clean up whatever you're doing before you just start making major changes, saying I need an assistant or a manager or this and that. Look at it from their point of view first. That's going to help you clear everything up, as well as the realtors. Talk to them as well. Hey, realtor, how do you think I did? Grade me on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are my inefficiencies at? How can I improve?
mm,
Don't be
Mm.
scared to do an exit interview on every client. It's not always easy. It can be, it will punch you in the gut sometimes,
mm.
but at least you can fix it moving forward. And then that realtor and that client is like, oh, this person really cares and wants to get better at their craft and what they care for, and then they'll start sending you more people because you correct the issue. They know that they can work with you again. So always keep that in mind. Exit interviews work for me.
That is awesome, dude. Exit interview killer. What about a checklist for that,
You,
Chance? Do
you
you
know
do
what?
you have some sort of a checklist that you preset questions you ask borrowers on the way out and realtors?
Absolutely. It's a checklist I do. And the biggest thing is the checklist on the front end, to be honest with you. I thought it was good, but it wasn't good. How did I introduce my team to my client?
Yes,
Mm,
Just
that's so
by
important.
email? Was it just by a text message? Was it a phone call? How was that introduction and how clear was I in regards to what positions, who's responsible for what? That was
mm,
I thought it was good. It was terrible. So once I got that cleared up, it helped the whole process. So now when I get a contract in, I do a warm call to my processor, to my mortgage approval specialist. They know who these people are. It's just not by emailing. Nope. Call. And also during conditions, something that Steve Kyle taught us is that on the initial submission, you should not have more than 5 conditions come back. If you do, what's the problem?
mm-hmm.
How do we get this resolved, right? So it's all about how clear you are on the 1003, URLA, all those things there. But You have to be careful on how you introduce your team, and then you follow that model all the way through and do an exit interview. You will get better every single time. I promise you, you will.
I
Kristen,
like
you
that.
had something to put in there. You put it in the chat. What's going on there?
Oh, I'm trying to find the exact spot on the member site, but we have the sales fulfillment process that Chauncey's talking about that Steve taught him in the boot camp. We
Mm,
have the steps on that so that you can, there's a lock-in handoff call steps, and Steve kind of walks everybody through that. So it's on the MMA
mm,
member site
wonderful.
for those who are
What
on that.
somebody taught me, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago, Chauncey, was kind of an extension on that, that I never thought of, and it's absolutely brilliant, is what's called the halfway survey.
Mm, mm,
So, so this person taught me, instead of waiting till the end, do it halfway through the progress process. And so, like if I was asking you, Chauncey, let's say, I don't know, we're on a 4 week contract, 2 weeks into it. Hey, Chauncey, how am I doing so far? So when we finish this, Chauncey, I'm going to ask you for a 5-star review. Is there anything I need to do now to earn that 5-star review going forward? Is there anything I need to do to earn that 5-star review?
mm,
And yeah, and because what this person taught me, they said, hey, if I wait to the end, and then they give me that negative review, I can make it better after closing, but I still got the negative review. That if I can, like, if you say, well, Carl, I don't like the way Bob talks to me, and I'm just making up a name here. I don't like the way Bob talks to me. When he calls, he's always a little sharp, or whoever. Leslie never calls me back, or whatever. Again, I'm just making up names here. Now I've got 2 weeks to fix that problem, and still leave with a happy client. And so I don't know, Chauncey, would you do both, you think? I mean, is there anything that would, like,
Yes.
is sending both
Yes, it's there also. The halfway mark is great, but I do that on my calls that we reach out to the title company, the agents, all parties involved.
hmm,
I ask during that time period because if you and by that time you probably by the end of the closing you talk to every person at least 8 times. That's just what I've been seeing at least 8 times, and they're going to give you feedback as you go through that process because we're still asking for the business on every conversation, right?
hmm,
So in order for me to ask for the business, I have to have everything else cleared up, right? I can't ask you for something I didn't get this condition. I didn't get this from the title company. I have to have those things cleared up first before I can ask you for the business. So what it does is it makes you hold your own self accountable to make sure you're on target for everything, right? So
hmm,
all the people who are on every transaction, they know they get an email from me every Monday. It's coming every Monday. If there's no update or there is an update, but you're going to hear from me every Monday by email, and you're also going to get a phone call to validate you got that email, and then I'm going to ask for the business. So that's how I kind of
mm,
keep everything in line in that regard.
mm,
I like
mm,
that.
mm,
Frank, we also do this thing where, like, for the customer, for the branch manager is actually the loan officer. Right. So loan officer. So, those of us that are loan officers, we are the customer to our branch manager. And so we do this really cool thing. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but it's in the same line that the loan officer gets a survey at the end of each file where they rank the processor, their assistant, the underwriter, and the closer, and grade them on a scale of 1 to 5. And that person's like, let's say the processor, his or her raise or his or her bonus is based on their ratings that the loan officer fills out on their survey. And so, the old thing of where the underwriter, I always used to feel like I was playing tug of war with the underwriter, and now for the first time, I felt like the underwriter was on my side of the rope, helping me pull, because his or her, ranking I'm going to give at the end of each and
mm,
every file that goes
mm,
to his or her supervisor, at the end of each file, depends upon how well it doesn't mean that they're going to approve. Come to find out, my person just bought a jet airplane, and his debt to income is all wacky. Doesn't mean we
mm,
ignore those things, of course, but at least we look for ways to turn that around and figure out how to get that thing to closing. So I think that was a
mm,
huge momentum shift. And so if you're not doing that, I'd strongly recommend that you do something like that.
mm,
Super
mm.
simple, right? It's just easy enough to do a survey. And
Yeah.
and if that person gets a 4 or less, anything less than a 5, in our case, they get a call from the honey badger,
Mm,
Allison. And don't get me wrong, Alan's the nicest person ever. as long as you're doing your job. When you're not doing your job, she is a honey badger. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. She runs a
So
tight ship. Hey,
yeah.
we kind of diverged from the original question, which is when should I be looking for an assistant? Should it right away or do I need to have a certain amount of production? I don't think we really clearly answered that.
So,
So,
so what do y'all think in the chat? Like how did it work for you guys?
yeah,
Like
it's a
those
good
of you
one.
that have one.
Yeah.
And
Cause
then
you,
and then while you're writing that, the other question that comes to me, Frank, is all right, now that you got this magical assistant that does
yeah.
a fantastic job for you, what are you now doing with that newfound time, which should be a
Mm,
lot of newfound time, like a lot.
mm-hmm,
It could easily 20, 30 hours a week of newfound time.
mm.
So what are
Give
you
it
now
around.
doing? What are you now doing this new time?
Hmm.
So
And then in the chat, guys, make sure when did you get your assistant or when should you get an assistant as a loan officer? How quickly? Immediately or after a certain
Or
amount of production?
if they're sharing one, I would say right around 5 closings a month. And if they're looking for, and it depends, there's a lot that
you
goes
mean getting
into
their own, Krista?
getting your own. I would recommend from profitability standpoint, if you're running a P&L, it typically doesn't. 5 is for shared. I would say 10 is your own.
Got it.
And you want to make sure you're doing it consistently. So, we keep this individual busy, and we also have to recommit to the activity. You don't want to get an assistant if you're not willing to go out and prospect more.
Yeah.
So that is a really big part of it. And then just to go back a little bit, Chauncey kind of mentioned it, but to make sure you have this assistant a part of the process, making sure when you're taking the application, you're setting the expectation. So in the event that Carl, I'm your assistant, you're taking the application and you're saying, now Krista is my partner that works alongside me. She'll be reaching out to you in 24 hours. She'll be your main point of contact. I'll still be reaching out every Tuesday for file updates. But, so you're setting that so that they know to answer the phone when this person calls. So
Yeah.
again,
I
to
like
go
that.
back, I would say 5 for shared and 10 for your own.
So are you saying, Krista, that ideally I'm coming on, I don't have my 5. I'm 0 right now. I'm getting started, but I should have a shared immediately, is what you're suggesting?
No, I would say once you have 5, let me tell you why, because you still have a processor, but when you have 0, what are you doing with your time?
Right. Okay,
So,
let's say I'm prospecting though. I'm starting to get, one or two deals going. If I get one or two deals going, you're still thinking my processor's my main assistant, but until I hit 5 and then I try to get someone.
yeah, that's what I recommend.
Mm,
Hmm.
But I mean, you could do it at 3 or 4, but you want to have it consistently. And it to me, I feel like if you're only at 2 loans a month, which
mm,
is a great number right now, but
mm,
you have time to be able to collect those documents and still prospect.
mm. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's
All right.
interesting. Kelly's saying, and there's two questions in the chat, and one of these I knew would come up, but Kelly was saying, for her, you have to know her. She had to know herself, and she just is not good at the admin stuff. So for her production is much better when she has an assistant, like immediately, is what
Mm,
Yeah.
she's saying.
mm,
So
I
her
agree with
answer
that.
was immediate with working, making sure you're having a constant number of units. So you have to
mm,
be consistent
mm-hmm,
with those units and do the prospecting. But
mm,
Scott brought up a question which I knew was going to be the next thing. So how
mm,
much do you pay this assistant and how do you pay them?
mm,
That's a great question. So, typically, if typically assistants, I would say, are going to run you about 50,000 a year. Um, you can do so about 25 basis points if you have your own assistant. Shared, it'd be 12 and a half. And then I know people like to do the, added fee. So,
the
we,
bonus or whatever.
yeah.
Mm,
I would keep it simple. Because as you scale, you don't want your individual potentially making $200,000 a year. That's not what that role was designed for.
mm-hmm,
Again, this is just my opinion, but I would say make sure that it's something that you're willing to continue to do. So maybe $100 bonus every once in a while versus basis points, or
Yeah, Carl,
bonus
you've always
them
had yeah,
quarterly.
Carl, you've always had good thoughts on the bonus thing. Can you
Well,
do that?
I love this group because the wonderful thing about this group is we don't always have to agree on everything,
Yes.
because and there is like which is better, Ford or Chevrolet? I don't know,
Mm,
Tesla, right, is better, right?
mm,
Or a Honda is better, or what? Like everybody has different, nothing like a good Ford truck, whatever. So I love how we can agree to disagree on this. I'm a day one get one guy.
mm,
Like I think because I cannot tell you how many loan officers they'll say, well, as soon as I hit five, and I agree with you, Krista, that you have to be consistent, right? I can't hit five 1 month and then back to one and I still keep my assistant. Like for me, I have to do it 2 months in a row. And then if I go down from that number 2 months in a row, I lose it. Right. That's my carrot.
mm,
And so, because I can't tell you how many loans I've talked to, they say, well, my company says as soon as I get to four, as soon as I get to five, or as soon as I
Yes.
get to seven, or as soon as I get to eight, whatever that number is. And I'll say, well, how long have you been trying to get to that number? I don't know. Well, how long have you been in the business? 8 years. Huh. How's that working out for you so far?
mm,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe not. So I think to me, part of having an assistant is, now I got somebody that I'm responsible for. And so when I walk in the door, I remember walking in the door and seeing Miss Diane sitting there at the table, and I know that she had these two beautiful young daughters just counting on her, and Diane's counting on me. It makes me step up to the table, and that
mm,
even on the days that I don't feel like it, I think, well, you know what, in a good way, right? Diane's counting on me,
mm,
and I'm counting on her, and so she's my wingman. And so I gotta make sure I'm doing my part because she's damn sure doing her part. And so
mm.
to me, that was part of the like accountability is having somebody to answer to. So, but I
Yeah.
see your
No, I
standpoint.
I do agree with that, Carl, because I mean I'm at Success Mortgage Partners. We do the day one get one. I think the part, and maybe I misinterpreted the question, but I think it's, are you willing to recommit to the activity? Because we don't want to have an assistant and then not do the activity, and then we have somebody that is not busy. So
Hmm.
that it's a bigger question, but yes, I mean, like I said, I 100% agree if you're going to do the activity.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
like your like, whatever. And you could insert in basis points, but let's just say 25. And somebody might go, wait a minute. And again, we're just using some basic easy math numbers, not recommendations. So let's say somebody's making 100 basis points, or let's do 125 just for easy math. So let's say I'm doing 125 basis points, and we go, well, wait a minute. If I'm going to get if my branch manager Frank is going to charge me 25 basis points for my assistant, I'm only getting 100 when I was getting 125. I want the 125, and then that question goes back. What do you want? 100% of a grape or 50% of a watermelon?
Mhm.
That one of the best business advices I've ever gotten from a dear friend Perry, which I mention all the time. 'Cause I learned a lot from that guy. Is write small checks, cash big checks. And so I'm writing a 25 basis point check to cash three times more, now 100 basis points checks. And so if getting that assistant allows me to go to 1 to 3, I have three 75s, which is way better than one 100, or better than
Yeah.
one 125.
Hey, if you're liking Loan Officer Breakfast Club, you really need to check out Mortgage Marketing Animals. Don't forget, we have live events pretty regularly throughout the year. You can learn more by going to mastermindretreats.com. Mastermindretreats.com. Go there, check it out. Hope to see you at one.
And so that's me. Victoria, what do you got to say about all
Yeah,
this?
Victoria, you're patient there.
Well, yeah, I think you kind of answered. I wanted to know the definition of consistent. Was it 3 months? Was it 6 months? But I think, Carl, you said 2 months consistently.
But it goes the other way, Victoria. Now let's say at 10, branch manager Frank, again hypothetical, branch manager Frank says, "Hey Carl, when you hit 10, I'll give you your full-time personal non-shared assistant." I go, "Awesome." And so here it is, June. So July, August, I hit my numbers. Awesome. August, I'm off, or next month, September, I'm off a little bit. That's okay. The next month, I bring it right back. I'm still good. But if I have 2 months beneath that bar, right? It took me 2 months to get there, and I can lose it in 2 months, right? Because we can all have a down month, or maybe I went on vacation or whatever. but I gotta bring it back real quick, or I revert back. You know what we ought to do, Frank? So Kristen and I are teaching a class in Michigan at our live event, and it's just on this exact topic. Like, what does my team look like when I'm closing two? What does my team look like when I'm closing five? What does it look
Mm,
like when I'm closing eight? And we're going to go step by step on exactly what to do. And this weekend, what I was busy doing, not yesterday, of course, it was Father's Day spent with the family. But I get up but early in the morning. So early Saturday morning, I took all my PowerPoints and all my notes and I uploaded it into a Chat GPT. And when you come to the event, I'm going to give you this Chat GPT. You can create AI bots, and then
mm,
I can share it with somebody. And so
mm.
when you come to this event in Michigan, I'm going to share with you all the notes, like really all my best stuff for the last 25 years, and I uploaded it into this Chat GPT, and I'll be sharing that link, and you can have that like in perpetuity. That way, when you have questions, you can go back and ask it, and hey, what would I do this, or help me write this, or help me script out a video using Carl and Kristen's principles, and if you're a branch manager, how do I set up my branch and who does what? All that's going to be in this little Chat GPT that we're creating. So that's what I spent Saturday doing. So if you go to mastermindretreats.com, you can join us in Michigan, and it's me and Kristen, and we're going to be doing 2 full days, and looking forward to seeing everybody there. But this was a
Nice.
fantastic topic. And again, I don't think there's one answer fits all.
Mm,
But yeah, and so for me, the pay could either be one of two ways. Either I'm paying them directly through basis points, or Victoria, let's say you're my branch manager, and you go, hey Carl, I'm going to give you an assistant, and it's $400 per file, just like a processor kind of thing. And you go, well, wait a minute, I make $2,500 per file, and I'm going to give 400 or 500 of it away to a processor. Yeah, but now I have three more 2,500 checks coming in on top of that. And so yeah, you got to write small checks to cash big checks. It's that, and not that anybody here has that, but it's that scarcity mindedness of I need to have every crumb, and I can't afford to put fertilizer on my crops to let them grow, because I have to eat the fertilizer, right? And that's just a
mm,
horrible way to look at it. That you got to fertilize your crop.
mm.
So you got to invest in your business.
All right. Great stuff today, Chance. I see you got your hand up. Hold on one sec. Gen Z, still here? Still with me?
Sure
Did
am.
she?
Yeah,
You
and you know what, Robert just made a great point. So I sent an email out. I think it was on Saturday, about Tammy Saul, where she grossed 300,000, but she spent 200,000. Her total commission was a little over 500,000, but she spent $200,000 to make it happen, which gave her a profit of 300,000. So a lot
Yeah.
of people look at 200,000 as a humongous monthly check that this lady writes, but she profited 300,000, right?
Mm,
So to her, the 200,000 is a small check to cash the $500,000 check, of which
yeah.
she grossed, or she profited $300,000 for the month. And
Yeah.
that's how rich people think. Rich people don't think, what does this cost me? Like, what does it cost me to fly to Michigan to attend this event? That's a poor person question.
Mm,
What rich people do is, what's the yield? What do I benefit? What do I when I do this act when I put $20 in the machine, if $200 pops out, I'll wear that machine out, right? So
mm-hmm,
it's not what does it cost. The question is always, what is the yield? So
mm, yeah.
kind of rambled a little bit, Frank. I
It's all good. Yeah, this is
might
great
put
stuff,
caffeine in
man.
my tea this morning.
It was a good morning, man. It was a great
Good
one.
morning.
Gen Z, today's mortgage marketing animals, or this week is mortgage marketing animals appreciation week, right? What's going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, yeah. We're just, thought we'd share some love and show some extra love to our members this week. So today is Motivation Monday.
Mm,
So last week on a class Carl was on and helped us with, everyone wrote their own mantras. So today, Meg and I are going to share ours on the Facebook group, and we got a lot of fun stuff coming up this week. So
so our great appreciation to all mortgage marketing animal members this week. Thank you all. It's great
oh, and
stuff.
don't forget Wednesday is our 3-hour power call block.
Okay.
Call stars, yeah.
So we're doing 3 hours.
We're doing 3 hours. We're going to have the Call Stars link open from 9:30 Eastern till 3:30 Eastern. and everyone can hop on, and we're going to do 3 hours of calls at least. You can do more if you want to, but 3 is what we're asking for.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
That feels good. Yeah. All right. Before
Hey,
we go, Sean,
Frank,
go ahead,
wait,
Carl.
one last thing. As a general rule, loan officers make the worst managers as a general rule.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have this assistant, make sure that there's somebody managing that assistant, and it's not you. That's a big deal. Somebody just direct
That
message,
is a good
private
point.
message me, say, but Carl, I suck at being a manager. Yeah, me too. And that's why I got somebody that manages my. So make sure you have like a loan officer assistant manager that's managing yours and everybody else's assistant. They'll do a much better job, and they'll hold their feet to the fire. And that way, I'm not the bad guy to my assistant. I'm not, because I want my assistant to, I don't know, like love me like I love him or her, so that they'll go to battle with me. Where if I'm the one that's kind of every now and then give them a little smack on the bottom, figuratively speaking, of course,
Yeah.
then they might be a little mad at me, and you never want your help mad at you. So I'd rather them be mad at manager Susan or Bob or Lisa or whatever his or her name is, and they'll do a better job because I'll manage by my emotions, and the right way to manage is manage by the numbers. What's their actual numbers. So anyway,
Good stuff. Chauncey, you had one more thing before we get out of here?
Yes. Real quick. I can't remember if it was Sharon Wolford. I can't remember. It was months ago. And they said something simple as in regards to the time hiring assistant, things of the sort. And her issue was that she was out in the field. I don't think it was, sorry, Sharon, I don't think it was you. It was another young lady who's with Success Mortgage Partners. And she says she orders her groceries now from Publix or wherever the grocery and just have it delivered because she was wasting time when she could be prospecting, right? Versus actually, I can't remember the young lady's name. I can't remember. But some of those things, those daily checklists like that will help you. And this last thing I want to say to you all is this. LOBC doesn't pay me a dime. I don't ask for anything. I'm telling you all, I'm here every single day because this stuff works. I watch all the YouTube videos. I did the class with Steve Kyle. So whenever the team here is suggesting that you all take a class, please do. And they didn't ask me to say this. I'm telling you, it will definitely help you all. Sign up for these classes, see if it works. It worked for me. The people who take it seriously and actually execute those items on a daily basis and stay with the daily success plan, it works. And repeat, they have not asked me to say this. I don't get paid a dime, okay? Please sign up. It works. And then when you come to the LOBC in the mornings at 8:30, a lot of more things start clicking. Cause then you're like, oh yeah, that's what everything just start clicking and in that motion. So please do it, okay? Trust me, it will work out. You would thank yourself. Forget me, you would thank yourself for doing it.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chance.
Chance. All right. Well, Carl, we doing a hangout or we taking off? We got stuff to do.
I'll just tell you a quick little story. Let's go ahead and finish off, and then I'll hang around for a minute. I'll just tell you, it was really cool, man.
All right.
Going to my house, I was literally born in. It was really cool. So let's finish up, and then we'll just stay here.
All right. So for those that are ready to get to work, get things moving, we'll see you guys tomorrow here at Loan Officer Breakfast Club. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for all the sharing, you guys. Chauncey, thank you, man, for always sharing. You're a great asset to the group. We really appreciate you and everybody else. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow at Loan Officer Breakfast Club. If you feel like hanging out a little bit, hang out. We're going to kind of shoot breaches for a few more minutes. Happy to have you here. So you guys have a great one. Catch you later. See ya. Adios.
See ya.
Bye-bye.